Today we're going to talk about trends. There has been some debate. There we go. There's been some debate, and I've been talking to people just offline and online about this. Specifically, a gentleman over at Jacob's Wager Me This channel about trends. And with regards to trends, are they real or not? Are they fake? Or are they bullshit? Or whatever you want to call it. The topic here was this. He was saying to me, and I agree with him, you can't predict what's coming next. There's no way to predict what's coming. And I talk to you all the time about trending and how to hop on a trend and that kind of thing. So I think there's a little bit of nuance there in the wording. And I've said this before too, that we get hung up on the terms hot table, cold table, that kind of thing. So let's talk about what those terms mean. Hot table meaning a table that's trending green, or shooters are making lots of numbers, lots of points. Cold table meaning tables trending what I would call trending red, which means we're missing points or short rolls. A lot of crap numbers coming out. Those are the two kind of like the things on the teeter-totter that I look for is, am I seeing many, many sevens and crap numbers versus points and box numbers? And that sort of tells me what way the table's leaning, and you might want to jump into that. Now, you can't predict it. And I think that this person I was arguing with was right about that. So I want to go to WinCraps real quick. I don't normally do this piece because WinCraps is more of the Vince Armenti sort of wheelhouse. I don't want to jump in and steal his thunder on how he does these kind of things. But I think it's important for us to take a look at what trending actually is. So what I've got here is the world's simplest possible strategy. So if we take a look at what I've got here in WinCraps, I've got this don't pass trend script that I've created. And I can show you the code for you. The script here is ridiculously simple. It's just, let me pull it up here. I should have had this ready for you. It basically just says if you have money in your bankroll, stop rolling, or if you don't have money, if you're out of money, stop rolling. If the next roll's a come out roll, throw a quarter on the don't pass. That's the whole script. It doesn't do anything more than, no more intelligence other than dropping a quarter on the don't pass every single come out roll. And I have this script in here simply to show you one thing. I want to kind of I'm going to run through this. We're going to run it on what they call hyperdrive, which means it's going to run 1,000 rolls. It's going to run rolls until I tell it to stop or until it runs out of money. So I'm going to do this really quick, and I'm going to scale this thing back a little bit here. And we're going to run this. And I want you to look at the trend line that you're seeing here. If I scale it back even more, you'll see the casino, or the craps game, how the casino sees it. Okay? Over the course of time, over billions of rolls, the casino sees it this way. There's very little variation in the way that players win or lose. It's always around the same, right? With a don't pass bet or a pass line bet. You can see here, actually, this is a really good visual. You can see the house edge here at play. It's about a 1% variation over time. That's trending. That's how the casinos play it. However, and I've said this before, the guys at Sin City Living, the dealers that have a show, David at Casino Quest, dealer that has a show, they will always talk about the hot roll, the hot roll, the hot roll. You got to jump into the hot roll. And that's because what they see is this. They're here for this amount of time. We're here for the short term. But in the short term, what the table looks like is this. Okay? That same trend line in micro scale looks like this. So over the course of millions of rolls, it's pretty flat. In the moment, when you're at the table, it looks like this. And here you've got a situation where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is probably about 10 shots here that I'm in this higher trend line, where it's trending up. I'll zoom in even more, where it's trending up here a little bit. And then here to the right of that big peak, you see it trending downward. Now I'm on a don't pass here. This is a don't pass strategy where every time it's going down, it's a pass line winner. Every time it's going up, it's a don't pass winner. So you can see here that in this particular section that we've got, especially here towards the end, it's super choppy. And you can see that over the course of, what was that, 330 rolls that we just did. We made at one point 150, and we're currently at 975. So we didn't go up or down very much, which is typical of the don't pass or the pass line. But you can see that there's pockets in here where things are repeating, pockets of trends, clusters of outcomes, I call it. Now, there is no causality here at all. And I think that's important to call out. There's nothing that the dice do on one roll that impacts what happens on the next roll. This is not baccarat or blackjack, where the thickness of the shoe or the quality of the shoe or the density of the shoe has an impact on the next thing that comes out. You can't say that in craps because dice are dice. They're going to do what they're going to do. Even the best dice controllers, and I'm looking at you, George, if you're watching, even the best dice controllers can't predict what's coming, right? They know that they're in a pocket, right? Based on how they're throwing, landing, and everything else, they may be able to fit into a pocket of outcomes, and they're more likely to be in a zone of 6 or 7 numbers and maybe holding the 7 off a little longer, but there's no way that they're predicting, here comes the 8 and popping an 8 out there, right? People say they do that, they're lying. That's not what's going on. So yeah, trends can't be predicted, but they can be capitalized on. And that's kind of what I want to get into today. I'm going to switch back to the table here. And let's talk about one of the more famous videos ever done on trending. And this was done by Al Kaufman. And many of you have probably seen the video. I know that Jeremy at Color Up has actually covered this video. He's actually rolled out the strategy, which I think is pretty cool. And the strategy was basically a martingale strategy, which of course nobody recommends we do martingales. But his strategy was to play the pass and the don't pass simultaneously and then heavy up on whatever just came out. And he was kind of chasing loss. He was actually going it in kind of reverse fashion, which whatever just came out, you're going to keep on piling on and martingaling as you lose on a side until that side wins, and then you switch sides. He was going on the negative trend in that video. And we can kind of roll that out here. I can show you what it looks like. Now, I don't play this way, obviously, because in my casinos, we're not allowed to do this. You can't do a pass and a don't pass in our casinos. But what he would do is he'd play them both and allow a number to come out. And here's going to be a 7 out. So here's a 7 out. So the pass line would win. The don't pass would lose. And what he would do is move this up to the don't pass and then heavy up on that one there and try and recoup that loss. Actually, it was I think he was doing match the bet plus a unit. So it was like a super martingale. And now we're looking for a don't pass winner. He's going negative trend, saying, well, the thing that just happened probably won't happen again, but here it does. So again, we lose 75 on the don't pass. Now you're going to go with what you just had out there plus a unit while your pass line bet wins. And now you heavy up again, and you're doubling. Actually, he was doubling that. His would have been to 150, I'm sorry. So 3 units plus a fourth. Now you're at whatever that is, 375 or something. And so this is the Kaufman system, which is finding trends. There's another 3 7s in a row. So here's why martingaling. Top Hat will tell you. I martingaled one time, or I pseudo-martingaled one time during a tournament. Top Hat was on my case about friends don't let friends martingale. And here's why. 3 losses in a row will happen, and now we're at 7 units out here. So you'd have to come out there with another 7 units. I'll have to pull from my side roll here. There's 5. There's 8 units. Good Lord, this is a lot of money. That's going to be 7 units twice plus a unit. So there's actually 15 units now on the don't pass. And again, we're finding the negative side of the trend. We finally get a number that's a 6, and you have to hope now for a 7 to make 1 unit. And there is a 7. So out of all that, you end up making 1 unit, which is why martingaling kind of sucks. But the point being, his system is to spot a trend. And I like the spirit of that system, spotting trends, although the implementation there was not the greatest. Excuse me. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how do you spot a trend, because just like in Baccarat, and when I was talking to Andrew from Craps Down Under over email a little bit, or over chat a little bit, and it's true. His system, which I really love, that 1-3-2-1, 1-3-2-4 system, where you basically bet 1. If it wins, you get paid 1. You stack 1 more on top, you go to 3. When that wins, you're going to have 6. You drop back down to 2, so you lock up a 2-unit profit. If that wins, you stack it up and you take the 4, and you end up walking away with the 10-unit profit. That's pretty badass little system right there. That only works if you're in a trend. The idea of a system like that, trend betting or progressive betting during a trend, works really well on any 50-50-ish kind of bet. So the pass line and don't pass line work perfectly for a system like this, where you're basically progressing your bet with each subsequent win. And what you're trying to find is one of these trend lines. You're trying to go back and find a trend. You're trying to get into one of these cycles where it's moving itself up. And you can see here in this system that I ran earlier today, or just in front of you actually, you don't capitalize on the trends. You're betting a quarter every single time. So that's why our high is 1150 and our low is, or current is 975, because you're not really going after the trend. You're just kind of sitting there when it happens. So the Andrew, the 1-3-2-4 system is designed to capitalize on a trend and spot it. Now, I would tell you, as you're in that system, and I think that's a great system, and it works on both sides. You can run that same system on the pass line. It does not matter. You can run it on the pass line. And again, we'll just do it real quick just to kind of show it. There's a 5. So new point of 5. We have 1 unit on the pass line. Let's just run it really quick and see what happens here. There's a 3, which, and again, no place bets, right? We're just doing the pass line only. So that's a loser. We'll do it again. I'll just roll this a couple of rolls here. Well, that was a big high jump. New point's going to be 6. We'll get a 4 here. We'll get a 9. And there's our point of 6, which would pay us a unit. We would add a unit to it and go to 3. And now you're in, hopefully, if you're a pass line bettor, one of those arcs that's trending up. So you've caught 1 in a row so far. If you can pop a second one out here and make it 2 in a row, there's our 9, our next point. Now you're into one of those trends. And I'll talk about that in a second when it pops up here. Let's see if we can get a 9 and talk through this. Because right now, we're in this kind of trend spotting mode. And here it is. There's a 5, 4, 9, which would pay here. Let's get my greens over here where they belong. This would pay us 3, right? We would reduce our flat bet down to 2 and rack up 4. Now, we've hit 2 in a row, and we're potentially in a trend. And to go back to the point earlier, there is no causality about this, right? There's nothing that just happened that indicates we're going to get it again. There's no reason to believe that anything I just did with these dice is going to make the pass line a winner again, right? Remember that. That's a big key part of this trend spotting thing is you're maybe in one of those upticks. And what that indicates to me, if I'm potentially in an uptick, this might be the time to drop a quarter and go light. Maybe we'll go a $12.06 and a $12.08. And because we think we might be in a trend where there may be some numbers coming, because the shooter has made 2 points in a row, and we're trying to catch that wave, now that I'm in the wave, I'll throw a minimal bet out there and see, hey, maybe we can catch what's happening here and catch some juice in the middle as well. So let's see what happens here. So we've got 2 in a row on the pass line. We've locked up a profit on the shooter. I just reinvested a quarter of that. We had 4 units here. We had a 2-unit profit. I invested a quarter back into the inside just to see what happens. Okay, we're back on the 9 again. So this is a good situation here, right? We think we're in a trend, right? We invested a little bit of profit to pick up some extra numbers, and now we can see what happens. And there's a 7 out, which is unfortunate because the table turned choppy on us. Maybe because I'm talking too much and it's taking too long. That's a possibility. But what we did there was an aggressive move in what we thought was maybe a trend line to move it. Now, what you might do if you're to lose this, of course, if you're on the Kaufman side of things, you're going to go don't pass now, okay? Because the idea of a trend and spotting a trend is to reverse course. So once something happens, and again, I want you to picture in your mind walking through the casino and you're seeing the big LED signs that are by the baccarat tables and by the roulette tables where it shows you the red and black, and the baccarat table shows you player banker. Those are 50-50 propositions. Essentially pass line, don't pass line, about 50-50. And you'll notice that although there's nothing done by the dealer to cause the bank to win every time in baccarat, nothing done by the dealer to cause the marble to land on red every time, you'll find clusters. What we're doing here. So in those games, I think a winning strategy is to follow the winner kind of a thing. Follow the leader. But you're one behind it, obviously, but you follow the leader. Here, the pass line lost, flip to the don't, And now we're going to see if the don't pass picks up a little bit of steam, and we'll try and find what happens. Let's just go again here. There's a yo, which is a huge bummer for us, right? That loses. And here's the question. Are we in the trend of the table is still trending this way or not? That's a tough one, because if you just go by loser, loser, you would say, well, time to go back over here again and kind of reverse course. I'm going to do that. You could try it the other way, right? You could say, well, a pure loser is a pure loser. Just see what happens here. Again, we're trying to... Okay, there's a 6. And again, there's no like science behind it. You're just... And again, here, no place bets. And no place bets because we just got chopped, right? It went from... We had what? We had winner, 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 loser 7, and then flip loser 11. So it still feels like it's trending on the green side here. There's an 8. So I'm not going to invest on the 6 and the 8. I just don't feel like the table's, you know, welcoming enough for this yet. Until I see something kind of going straight. There's an 8. I think we had 2 8s in this roll. Not bad. There's a 3 craps. There's another yo. So this table definitely feels like the trend is towards more numbers being rolled than not. Let's get that 6. There's a 10. Wow. Have we hit the small yet? I think we're almost on the small. Another 10. 5. Ooh, boy. If you're a trend spy, there's our 7 that knocks us out. So eventually we get out of that and lose it. But boy, that was a pretty good little trend right there. That was actually trending on the inside a little bit. But again, you couldn't have predicted that, right? Because we just went chop, chop, chop. And now we've lost another one. So what's happened here is the shooter has lost 2 points in a row. That yo 11 spooked me into going back to the pass line because the yo is typically a green sort of trending thing. But even though we rolled numbers in here, right, the right play was to stay dark on that one. So we're going to do that. We're going to stay dark here. We're going to run the Andrew system again. I just named it after him. It's not really the Andrew system, but I'm going to call it that. Let's clear the rack and run this out again. And there's 3 craps, which pays us on the don't. We're going to stack it and add 1. Now we're at 3, so we're in our second phase of that trend. Bummer, 7. This is a choppy, choppy table, which tells you, I'm going to have to pull 2 back here. If it's a super choppy table like this, what do? Right? You got to stay conservative here. You can't go after it yet because nothing is really lighting up. So to me, losing on a 7, here's the thing, folks. What trend line does that put you on? If you look back here at the graph, right now, I would say the trend line is pointing us down, right? If you're a don't player, you're trending down because you've lost one. However, the 7 to me is a number that I want to see more of. And if I start seeing that, it feels like the don't is where I want to be. So I'm going to give the don't the trend here. I'm going to say that we're trending red because I'm seeing frequent 7s. And that's the thing that I'm kind of tracking here and everything else. There's another 7, which is a bummer. We lose it again. Okay, so I think we need to go to the pass line here. I don't know. This is one of those things where it's so unlike Baccarat, but it feels like you've got to chase this a little bit and follow the winner here to see what happens. Now we're on a 4, which is a huge suck job because that's going to be a tough number for the shooter to hit. I'd like to get a couple back-to-backs here so we could get some place numbers going again. Let's see if we can get a point here, a point hit at least, and then we'll start switching into the inside. There's an 8. There's a 7 out. Okay, so again, choppy, super choppy. Okay, let's go grab another 2 units to showcase this again. So now that 7 is too strong today. We got to go don't because we haven't hit a point here in a little bit. So we're going to stay on the dark side and follow the dark side trend. We may, oh boy, there it is. It's just one of those days, right? The 7 is strong. So the pass line's not a great bet once you're past it, but boy, the dark side is tough. So what you might have to do here is in a day like this, you may have to get into the chuck and dice mode and hop a little bit to get past that 7. But I think that the trend of this table at this moment is definitely one of not making points. So we'll follow it. I don't think I've made $1 this entire day. Now we had one little win there early. There's an 8. There's a 10. Let this resolve itself. And again, this table to me has not earned my money. Like, I'm not putting money on the inside because we're just not seeing anything we like at all. There's the 7. So that we rolled what? We got a point of 5. We're like a 3 and a 10 and a 7, which is what you'd expect on a crap table. So there's our money. We're gonna stack that up. Now let's assume that I have money in my rack. So I would have had a bankroll here. We're gonna go to 3. And again, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling that we're earning anything in here yet. What you might be feeling, let's just take a few reds and some whites here in our rack. Let's just say we had, you know, other money here. This might be a time to drop money in the horn, right? When your table is trending in this, and I've thrown some horn numbers here. We're not seeing any box numbers, and we're getting strong in here. Let's just see if we can't make some hay this way. Okay, we go to the 8. We'll take our horn bet down. And again, I'm going to let the don't pass ride. I'm not going to take any additional dark money. I could drop a quarter into the don't come to get some additional flat money. I don't know that we're here yet. I think on the third level of a trend, I might do that. And there's the 8, which takes our money here. So our trend spine today is shitty because the table is so choppy, and this is what's going to happen to you sometimes. It just is what it is. Yeah, Top Hat, it would be great to see an LED sign for craps. That'd be super cool. Like, see the point, and then like how many rolls the person had to get to the point and what the result was. The problem is that might scare people away. You might see the chop and run for the hills. It happens. Let's do one more time. Let's start with, I'm going to start with, we hit the point there, right? Let's go ahead and go to the pass line and see if we can't, again, hop on the next wave up. And there's an 8, repeat 8, which is good. Be on the 8 here. Let's see if the table can actually sustain itself for a second here. Great. That's a winner 8. Good. We got one. So drop 3 on, drop 1 from the win, take 1 from our rack, and load it up. And again, we're on, to me, phase 2 here. I'm just going to stay on the pass line until I start seeing enough rolls in here to make it worthwhile. Okay, so unfortunately, we get one of these, and it burns the entire thing. So again, I'm going to replenish my rack here. What do you do in this case? Is the table trending dark? No. You know, even though we lost our pass line bet, I feel like the trending dark light thing has to be based on the point being made, not so much the money you're earning in here. So let's get on to the 8 again. That's like 3 8s out of the last 4 or 5 rolls. That's actually pretty solid. There's a 6. There's a 4. 7 out. Okay, so again, the chop today. This is like the Elmer, what is his name? Emerald Lagasse, the chopper. It's the Emerald Lagasse table today. We're just chopping it like crazy. So there's no trending at all today. So spotting trends today is impossible. But we're going to do it. We're going to keep on going opposite of what we see here, right? And as the thing changes, we're just going to change with it. There's another 8. So we hit a 7, we go to the dark side. 7 out right away. There's a 0.7 out. So that's going to pay. We'll stack it. We'll come out and try and catch a dark side trend here so we can't get one more like back-to-back kind of win here. So we're at 1 in a row. There's a yo. There's a 6, which does nothing. There's a 10. My God, we are hitting everything we don't want today. So there's, again, loser here. Just one of those days where you can't seem to catch any kind of a trend at all. This table has gone back and forth on every single shooter, except for one time where we hit 2 in a row, I think. Let's try it once again. So here we are. trying to catch a wave. We're trying to catch a wave as best we can. There's a pass line. And, you know, it's funny because what I'm preaching to you right now is follow the leader. What happened last? Let's try and get on one of those trend lines. But really what's happening here is the opposite is happening on this table. You know, you might want to consider on this table doing the exact opposite of what I'm talking about, because as choppy as this is, and again, that was a 7 that rolled over when I brought him back in. As choppy as this table is, you can't catch anything. So this may be the case where the trend on this table is the chop. So there was a frontline loser on the 5. I'm going to go back to the front line and say, you know what? The table here is so bad and so crazy chop that maybe the trend here is the opposite of what you would think is normal. So we lose. We're going to stay where we are this time and to see if that's the way to kind of capitalize here. There's a 3, which sinks to high heaven. There's a 6. There's a 9. So now we're hitting all the lows here. And 7 out. So yeah, you know, whatever. We certainly cannot pick it today, man. That is just hysterical. All right, 7 out. So we had finally 2 frontline losers in a row, and you know, made a decision based on what we're seeing. And you're trying to catch it, man. This is a tough one here. What do y'all think? One more time. Let's try and catch a trend here one more time and see if we can't make this thing work. And again, the idea here is to spot one of those ticks on the chart. You want to make sure you're in a positive place. The good thing is I'm losing very little money here. I'm not really investing a ton while I'm hunting this thing down. Hopefully we can catch one, make a little bit of cash, and then jump in when it's appropriate. So there's a 10. Just looking for the 7 right now since I'm on the don't this time. And there's a 6 which pays the pass line and takes my money again. So again, go to the pass line. I'll replenish my rack so we can do our thing. And you'll notice what I'm doing here when I replenish my rack. What I'm saying is this. I'm not running a bankroll today. Today's not a day where I'm managing my rack like a bankroll. I'm running a strategy with 2 units just to get a feel for how many times this thing works. So I'm not really tracking overall wins. I'm just kind of getting a feel for it. So there was a frontline winner. We'll stack it. We'll put one from the rack, and we'll see if we can't catch a little bit of a wave here. It's going to go to the 6. It's going to be an 8. And if we hit this point, we're going to jump on this what we call a northbound trend here, a green trend. There's a 5. And we'll place a couple of numbers with the profits, trying to catch that 3rd wave. So there's an 11. There's a 9. Pretty good roll here. Another 9. And there's the 7. Bummer. Lost it again. So yeah, today's one of those days where there is no trend. This table, if we were to track this table, and I will track this table afterwards, I don't think we had 2 wins in a row on either side, other than the winners on the come-out rolls, at all today. I think we chopped every single one. Let's do one more because I'm just dumbfounded by how bad it actually is. Oh my God, look at that. Switch to the don't pass, and we throw an 11, which is wonderful. But again, I'm keeping the trend as the point being hit, not so much the loss on the line. The loss on the line, although it does matter, is immaterial to the trend. There's a 4 for the point. And an immediate 7 out, so that's good. We're going to get paid 1. We'll drop the 1 from our rack, go to 3. And if we get a second one here, a second winner on the don't, now I'll start heavying up here. I might even take some odds. That would be the thing that I do, is take odds. So see if we can't capitalize here. Oh my goodness gracious, an immediate 9. So again, chop, 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 chop. Can't seem to catch a break here today, which is good, I suppose, as far as lessons learned from old John here. Yeah, old PS. Finding peaks is super, super challenging. Yes, top at the table is wrecking me today. Can you believe this? I have to try this one. I got to go again. And I know I'm burning some morning time here, but man alive, this table is just flat brutal this morning. So let's try it again. What happened there? We made the point last time, so let's go to the pass line. Yeah, this trend is no trend. But you know what? Trends happen, and we know that, right? There's a winner, frontline winner. So we'll take one and we'll rack one or stack one. So trends do happen, and you're going to be at the table where it's shit like this. And, you know, wait it out. It will come to you. At some point, it will come to you. Oh, my gracious. Look at that. PSO again. Ah! Awesome. Okay, here we go. We're going to try it one last time. This table's got no trend. This is the kind of thing where it's like, I don't know how to say this, but you go live sometimes and the dice god just want to ridicule you. Let's catch that 7 before the 4 here, huh? There's a 7 out. That was another 0.7 out, right? Or point, it was a point out on that one there. So not really good. Not real good. Are you leaving this table, everybody? I think you're leaving this table if you're on it. Because nobody's making money. If you're betting inside, there was 2 rolls there where I had like 4 numbers come up. The rest of it was nothing. And here we go again with an 11 to take the 60. Now, I probably should have been on the yo. And normally, I'm just going so fast here. Normally, though, when I've got that big of a don't pass bet, I'm definitely a $5 yo. I mean, I'm definitely out there doing this. So let's do one more shot here. I can't take this PSO or immediate hit thing anymore. There's a 3. Oh, sorry. We were on the don't pass there. That'll pay 1. We'll add 1 on our 3. Point's going to be 4. It's a hard 10. Another 10. And that's funny, 2 10s in a row. For those of you who watch DGE, and I really love Charlie's channel, he's great. His whole system is based on this. His whole system is based on the negative trend, right? What just happened is not likely to happen again. That's the basis of the DGE system, which again, if you're a subscriber to the ideology that dice have no memory and that one roll of the dice has nothing to do with the next roll of the dice, then what he's saying makes no sense. And by the same token, what I'm saying would therefore also make no sense. There's no causality between these things. You're just trying to catch a peak. You're just trying to catch one of those valleys or one of those peaks as you go here. So there's a 7 out. So we had 3 units on it. We're going to get paid 3. We're going to collect 4 and leave 2 here. So now we're in this like second round of it. And just because I've been getting burned, we're going to drop a nickel on the yo. And we have an 8 for the new point. Now what I'm going to do here is this. Because we're in this what I would consider a little bit of a trend. We've got 2 hits in a row on our don't pass, which is kind of a miracle today. What do we do now? Right? You could lay single odds against the 8, or you could drop a DC bet in there and get more action on the 7, which is what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to lay odds against the 8. I don't typically do that. But I could see getting some more DC action. And here we get aces. So we get paid up in there, which is nice. And there's a 6, so this goes to the no 6. Now we have like the 2 worst don't bets in the world, right? 50 on the no 8, 25 on the no 6. But again, the 7 is still a hairy beast. And here on potentially hit number 3 or level 3 in this dark trend, let's try and capitalize. There's a 7. So we're gonna get paid on that no 6. We're gonna get paid 2 on the no 8, and we're going to take that and stack it up. Now we're on the last level, right? We've made it to level 4, right? We're looking for hit number 4, and we've stacked up. We've won 1, we've won 3, we've won 2. Now we're on number 4, and again, I'm going to grab some change. And because we're now at $100 on the don't, that's going to be 10 on the yo. I'm not going to hop the reds. I know Chris Chuck and Dice is like, you got to hop the reds, dude. I'm not a hopper, typically. We're on the 6. We'll lose that. I'll also probably go with $100 there. I'll probably go, I'll go 15 on the hard 6 just to protect. There's an 8. That rolled. That was actually an 8, not a 6. And there is big red. There's the 7. So we actually achieved something here. We lost that, but we're going to win 4 here. And for this shooter, we actually did pretty damn good. Again, the 1-3-2-1 strategy will win you. There's 1, 2, $300, and I cashed in a quarter. You'll win 10 units on this if it works. And what we did there, finally catching a trend, was to say, well, when we're in a trend, what else will you be doing in the trend? And on that particular time, we picked up a don't come to get a second action on the 7. If it would have landed on the 4, 5, 9, or 10, I would have taken odds on it, most likely, to catch even more 7 action. And that's what you do, right? When you're waiting so long for that wave to come. And if you think about how many times we lost in a row, right, we still have, whatever this is a 350 over here in profit. We still did okay. We probably made up for most of those losses on that one trend, and that can happen to you. So trending is good. And again, I think making good decisions in a trend is where I want you to be thinking about. So we didn't catch it today, right? We caught one at the end. Earlier, we had one positive. We were on the pass line, and we took profits and bought some inside numbers. Again, I think it's a good decision when you're looking at that graph and thinking, where are you in the graph? Today, the dice didn't cooperate, but they don't always cooperate. What does Brian at Hawaii Crap Shooter say? The dice have to be nice. Dice were not nice today, and it's what it is. But we still ended up being halfway decent at the end. Yeah, Mitch, I see you'd left and be a spectator for sure. I think all of us would have probably left that table earlier on. But when you're filming live, you can't just leave. So I think it's good. And I think the best thing about this, frankly, is the fact the table was so bad and we stuck with it. What does that show you? I mean, I think, let me get back to the computer here. The fact that the table was so shitty and we stuck to it means, and I don't think you can see my mouse over here, but when you're in this doldrum, if you look at that top peak that we were in, and you're in this chop, 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 right before that big peak, and I'm looking at like the first couple of things here. You're choppy, 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 and everybody leaves the table, okay? Well, as soon as you leave the table, the dealers are still there, the casino is still going, and then you get this trend, and you would have walked away and missed that trend that just happened. And that's where the casinos make their money, because we can't stay long enough to catch all the trends, but the trends happen. They happen when you're probably not there. And today was a good case of that, where we're probably all not there, and that trend happened behind us when we left. So that's kind of it's an unfortunate thing the way we mostly all see the table. But I think it was a good example today of seeing the trend that follows you when you leave. So anyway, trend spotting I think is a real thing. I don't recommend sitting at a table with a Post-it note charting stuff, because it's ludicrous to think that charting a table will have any indication of what's going to happen. You can chart it all day long. It means nothing, because the dice don't have memory. And I said this earlier, even George, some of these amazing dice controllers can't predict what's going to happen. They can get into a pocket, they can get into a groove, they can maybe avoid the 7 a little bit, but they can't predict what's going to happen. And what they just did has no bearing at all on what's about to happen, other than them changing their grip maybe. That may have a little bit of say in what's coming out, but you can't bet based on what happened 5 minutes ago. And charting a table is ludicrous. However, at the table, when you do see the trends and you can get yourself into one of these upward grooves where you get 4, 5, 6, 7 hits in a row on the pass line or on the don't pass line, you got to jump on that. And you've got to feel like what's going on at the table. I think that's the only way to make money at 50-50 proposition bets, like the pass line, don't pass line. To me, the pass and don't pass are baccarat. It is literally follow the leader, and you will, as you just saw, following the leader eventually will get you to profit. That's the way these games work. It does not chop all day long. You will find that either super long roll or you will find a trend on one of the lines. So follow the trend, and I think that's a good way to identify where you are and then go in with your other money. I'm going to keep working that system here in the mornings when I do this practice session, because I think it's instructive to do that. I don't always do this. I invented we worked on the Hedgeless Horseman as a way to let you survive while a trend is forming and then jump on the trend. That was the mentality behind that strategy. This is a more overt way of doing the same thing. This is like, hey, let's just be on the pass line, 50-50 bet, follow the trend and see what happens. So that is the idea there. So anyway, thanks for watching today. I'm going to do this again tomorrow. We'll do the same basic thing, but I'm going to throw a different strategy behind the trend tomorrow. We're going to go a different way of playing dark and a different way of playing light as the trends get spotted. And again, I'm getting ready for a trip here, so I'm trying to work my strategies. I'm probably going to stay at the $25 level because from what I'm hearing, tables in Nevada are trending at the $25 level. So we'll see. Hey, good morning, Jeff. How you doing? MLB, see you. A lot of folks joined in a little late. That's good to see y'all. Will. So yeah, so tomorrow morning, probably about the same time, about 7:30 or so a.m. Pacific time, we'll get this rolling before I get into work there. So MLB saying when you see a point get made, that's when I make the move. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing. I like to wait until a point gets made before I go in. And to me, I go in light. Like if I'm on the pass line, I get paid in the pass line, and then a point gets hit, I take that winning and I use that to do a light jump in on the inside numbers. And then if it hits again, then you can go heavy. And that's what we're going to see. So yeah, Jeff, I know you guys are on the East Coast. It's 10:30 or 11 o'clock over there now, so it's hard. Finding the right time of day is hard for me because I work out here on the Pacific Coast. I work at 9 o'clock. So I've got to get in and out before 8:30 or so, typically. So it's hard to get the right timing for this. But yeah, that's it. I will see you all on the next one. Again, thoughts on spotting trends, leave them in the comments. Obviously, if you have better ways of doing it or alternative things that you're doing when you spot a trend, love to know that. This is all good things for me to try and roll out live and sort of analyze. So thanks again for watching. I will see you on the next show.